Hi, everybody. I'm waiting for the friends to join us. And I'm seeing who's here now. We have friends from Barcelona, from Denmark, from Tennessee, from Romania, from Melbourne, from Israel, from Alabama, from Ontario, Canada, from Casablanca, from Toronto, from Holland, from Michigan, and Tom DeVitis from Fire, from UK, Vermont, Sackett's Harbor, that's New York, upstate New York, across the lake from here. Another from the Netherlands, from Virginia, from France, from Oregon, Portland, Fort Myers, Florida, Ohio, Peru, South Carolina, Florida, Colorado, California. I'm saying places, these are all parts of your heart. California. All of the places in the heart that we think are outside of us. I've got all these names, right? Our disowned pieces. So normally what I do before we start to read and listen together is that I read something from Gems of Wisdom. But in preparing today, I came across something that, an explanation of the texts that I presented at a Kabyu retreat. And it struck me that it's very, very appropriate to helping us do this, what we're going to do today, and what we've been doing in these readings. What I usually read is in order to clarify how the attitude that we should have towards the texts, towards each other, how to listen to the text, how to read the text. And so I want to do this by way of a preparation. Hello, Finland. Hello, Germany. So what is a Kabbalistic text? And this is the highest Kabbalistic text that there is. It's the most complete, the most intense, the most powerful, the most effective. When it comes to the spiritual world, we don't have any behavioral models. We don't have any sensation, and we don't have any understanding of what that spiritual world is. So even if we did have some kind of a picture, we could perceive in some way a picture of spirituality. If it appeared in front of us, we still wouldn't be able to perceive it. And that's the way that things actually are. Everything is already in front of us, but we can perceive only a very, very small part of what exists, and we don't have the appropriate inner models or images to help us perceive spirituality. And that's why the Kabbalists write texts. What they're doing is they're telling us about the upper world in such a way that it pulls us up to that level, or maybe to be more specific to what actually happens is they bring the spiritual world down to us so that when we read it and we try to feel not so much to understand it, but to feel it, we become filled with those models, even if we don't feel it, and certainly even if we don't understand it. So that's why they're written. And it works on us by virtue of a thing that we called remedy, segula. Through this remedy of the intensity of these texts, we evoke spiritual images upon us, even though they are apparently far away from us, and we don't clearly feel them. The text prepares us to feel them. The reason that we gather together in order to read them, or even read them alone, but especially gather together, is that we want to, by doing this, create a need for that remedy. Well, what is that remedy? The need that we have is to learn how to build a mutual between us, where the Creator is connecting everyone. We want to come in contact with guidance in overcoming the resistance to connection. This is very, very specific about what coming in contact with spirituality, what it happens through. It's through this connection. And this means that all that we have to do is to aim to feel what the writer feels. We want to see or feel in us an equivalence of form with the intention of the writer towards us. And we don't need to look for any kind of an immediate grasp of what's going on. All we have to do is to immerse ourselves into the environment of thoughts and feeling and love that's in the text and aimed at us. So to help us do that before we start, let's do a kind of a visualization. Let's depict this in your heart. Imagine that we're all wading into a river. You're wading into a river. And as you're walking on the stony bed, sometimes the water is deep. Sometimes it's gentle. Sometimes it's narrow as you walk. Sometimes it opens into a wide space. All of us together. Sometimes it's flowing fast. Rapids are crashing around rocks and fallen trees. And we feel this current, and we want to move with the current. We're moving with the logic and the flow and the force that's driving the water. There's a current and we want to move with it, right? The rocks, there are resistance, the language, oddities, fear, confusion that we feel in response to the text and in response to what we're trying to do in connecting with each other. The sense that it's impossible, doubt, maybe even refusing in the heart. But what's driving the water is the nature of the upper force. It's the bestowal and the thought that is flowing from the author through all of the friends and into our heart. All we have to do is to relate to the text and to what's happening in our heart. The river is flowing us towards connection. but not an abstract connection. This connection, at this moment, with these exact people who are joining us right now and forever. So, let's continue from where we left off last time. And this section that we're going to be reading includes both the text of the Zohar and commentary by sages. Hence, the Creator imprinted bitter and harsh afflictions in self-reception, instilled in man from the moment of his birth bodily pains and emotional pains, so that if he engages in Torah and mitzvot, that is, in the light and the law, even for his own pleasure, through the light that's in it, he will feel the lowliness and the terrible corruptness in the nature of receiving for self. At that time, he'll resolve to retire from that nature of reception, and he'll become completely devoted to working only in order to bestow contentment upon his Maker. Then the Creator will open his eyes, and he will see before him a world filled with utter perfection, in which there are no deficiencies whatsoever. Then he partakes in the joy of the Creator at the time of creation of the world, as it is said, if he is rewarded, he sentences himself and the entire world favorably. For wherever he casts his eyes, he sees only good and only perfection, and he does not see any faults in all the works of the Creator, only merits. There are two ways in the corporeal and the spiritual afflictions that a man suffers before he repents. 1. All that the Creator does, he does for the best. He sees that were it not for the terrible pains that he suffered for being immersed in the nature of reception for himself, he would never have been rewarded with repentance, meaning return. Therefore, he blesses for the bad as he blesses for the good, since without the bad he would not be rewarded with the good as well. It follows that all are causing good. 2. That too is for the best. Not only did the evils that were done cause good, but even the evils themselves have turned into good through very great lights that the Creator illuminates through all those evils until they are inverted into good, both the bodily afflictions and the emotional afflictions, which are the transgressions. Thus the demerits have been inverted and have taken on the form of merits. The sixth palace is the spirit called the scarlet thread. The spirit is the will that all those lower spirits chase in order to obtain and cling to it with a kiss of love. The palace is the palace of desire, since it is the desire of all. The one who ties ties, who unifies unifications and raises the lower palaces to that palace. It is he who yields good will from the Creator with love. One who knows how to tie that unification is happy. He's loved above and loved below. The Creator sentences and he revokes. Is it conceivable that the righteous would slander his master's will, that he would revoke the will of the Creator? It is not. Rather, when the righteous ties ties and knows how to unify unifications, all the faces illuminate and all the wholeness is found, and everything is blessed properly. All of the dinim, the judgments, are removed and cancelled. There is no din in the world. Happy is he in this world and in the next world. It follows that the meaning of the Creator's sentencing and the righteous revoking is through many lights that the righteous extend through the unifications that he makes, And those lights canceled the decrees and the judgments from the world. Everything we said about the righteous is what he does below in this world. This is why it's written about him, a righteous is the foundation of the world, since the righteous is the existence of the world. The priests extend right and the Levites extend left. One without the other is incomplete. A palace enters a palace, spirit in spirit, until all bond in their rightful place, organ to organ, rising to Atzilut, to Zon, and each Bechina of Zeranpin bonds with its corresponding Bechina in the palaces. And they complement one another through Zivug de Yesodot. They unite in one another until they become one through Zivug de Hishikin, a coupling of kissing, and illuminate in one another through the embrace. Then the highest soul of all comes from above and illuminates upon them. And all the candles, the Sephirot, shine in full as it should be, until that upper light awakens and all the palaces enter the Holy of Holies, the seventh palace, in a zivug of seventh in seventh. The seventh palace is blessed and filled like a well of springing water that do not stop, and all the palaces are blessed above and below. Here is the secret of secrets. A light that is not known and does not enter the count of the 10 sfirot, the desire that is never captured, meaning the light of Yechida. It is so because the 10 Sephirot begin with Chochmah, Chabad Nahim, mitigated completely. Chabad Nahim are all the Sfirot. And that desire is neither known nor perceived even in the thought to know it. Then all the degrees unite and become one desire through Ein Sof. Since when the light of Yechida mitigates and fully clothes the degrees, all of the degrees unite in its illumination and become one desire, united through Ein Sof. Ein Sof is the endless, unbounded. Become united through Ein Sof, and all is in completeness from above and from below, from the very inside, until all become one. And there was evening, and there was morning. And there was evening extends from the side of darkness, the Nukva. And there was morning extends from the side of Zeranpin, since Zeranpin and Nukva partake together in a zivug. It is written about them one day, indicating that the evening and the morning are as one body, and both make the day, meaning that the light of the day comes from the zivug of Zeranpin and Nukva together. Each day it is written, and there was evening and there was morning, since it indicates zivug zon, that the light of day comes out of both. Thus, after the text notified it on the first day, what's the point that on each day it is written, and there was evening and there was morning? The text announces it to us repeatedly each day to indicate that it is impossible that it will ever happen that there will be light of day without prior darkness of night. And likewise, there will not be darkness of night that does not bring after it the light of day, since they never part from one another. And God saw all that he had done. Did he not see what he had done before? But it is written, and God saw all that he had done, which means that he saw only after he had done. However, the Creator saw everything, both what he had already done and before it was done. But the verse comes to add that he saw all the future generations and all that was to be innovated in the world in each generation, even before they would come to the world. The verse that he had done means the whole work of creation, because in the work of creation, the foundation and root of all that would come and be innovated in the world was created. This is why the Creator saw even before it came to be and placed everything in the work of creation, since the work of creation is the foundation and the root of all that would be. For this reason, the Creator included in them seeing all the future that would come to the world through the generations. Our sages said about the verse, and to say unto Zion, you are my people, with me in partnership. I began the worlds and you finished them, since the Creator established the whole of reality in a way that people could complete the correction. And since the end of correction was left for people, their partners in creation. This is why there are two discernments in heaven and earth. One, that which the emanator has already corrected. This is called the work of creation. Two, the new heaven and earth, which are to appear at the end of correction, as it is written, the new heaven and the new earth. The Creator created the man in the world and corrected them so that he would be whole in his work and correct his ways, and he would be rewarded with the upper light that the Creator had concealed for the righteous. It's written about it, neither has the eye seen a God besides you, meaning the hidden light, will do for the one who awaits him, meaning the righteous. By what will the man be rewarded with that hidden light? He will be rewarded with it through engagement in Torah, since anyone who engages in Torah each day will be rewarded with a part in the next world. It will be considered for him as though he built worlds, since the world was built and perfected with Torah, as it is written, the Lord established the earth with wisdom, set up the heaven with intelligence, the wisdom and intelligence of the Torah. It is also written, and I was with him as a master craftsman, meaning that the Torah was his craftsman to create the world. The Creator made the world with spirit, and the world persists with spirit by the spirit of those who study the Torah. In the Shema reading, a person should unify his master with ties of faith in one's heart's desire. When he reaches Echad, the word one, he should aim in the Aleph of Echad, which is hidden and more ancient than all, the Sephira Keter de Zeranpin, in the Chet of Echad. He should aim with the 8 upper degrees, which are from the upper Chokhmah through Tzadek, righteousness, Yesod. In the big Daled of Echad, he should aim to cling to the assembly of Israel, that all that are with us now, Malchut, David's portion, who is called poor and meager, when Malchut is not attached to Zeranpin, when she is now attached to those upper degrees, implies in the Aleph Chet of Echad, which are from Keter through Yesod de Zeranpin. At that time, Malchut is great. And this is implied by the big Dalet in Echad. And the whole world nurses from her. And the breasts are towers because the whole world nurses from them when divinity says, I am a wall and my breasts are over its towers. Then I was in his eyes as one who has found peace. When the assembly of Israel, Malchut, is in exile with her sons among the nations of the world, she's called small. As it is written, we have a little sister. This is from the Song of Songs. When Israel cling to the Torah and walk on the path of truth, Malchut is filled with abundance, peace. Yesod bonds with Malchut, and she replies and says, I am a wall and my breasts are as towers, meaning they are big and full of bounty for the world. At that time, when he bonds with them and peace, he interprets the Aleph of Atzilut then as the most holy Atik Keter and the Zion of Az, is 7 degrees from Chokhmah to Hod, and peace is called Tzaddik Yesod. Because those degrees bond with me, I was in his eyes as one who has found peace. The eyes are 7 degrees, Zat de Chokhmah, called eyes of the Lord, face of the Lord. And then there's peace in the world. And Chesed de Atik is in the place of the male and female, Zeranpin and Malchut. This is why Moses commanded in the Torah and said, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one," tying all the ties of faith. Did you hold each other? It held us. It tied us all together. Mary Smith says, from twilight and dusk, we're one and the same. Toronto 2 is here from Mike Elliott. Hey, that's my 10. That's my men. Sending love, global citizens sending love from the kingdom of Eswatini. Yeah. This was particularly beautiful. And probably feels that way because of what you are doing, the sincerity of your desire to connect here. Lifts us all into being able to feel this, or at least feel the desire to want to feel this, which is equally as beautiful as when it pours down on us. So, with that, dear friends, we'll end for today, and hopefully we'll meet again, God willing, next Tuesday at the same time.